there, thanks for joining me in this video. In this video, I want to discuss the difference between an open work permit and a closed work permit. Open work permit essentially means it's open. It allows you to work for any employer in any province for the validity of that permit. It doesn't restrict you to any particular position, which is excellent because a lot of clients who are on a closed work permit and get an open work permit could essentially leave their employer for another employer. So that's excellent. An open work permit is usually issued for, let's say, if you do a spousal sponsorship application inland, and you're eligible for an open work permit. If you've applied for a refugee or H&C application and the first stage is approved, you're eligible for an open work permit. If you are a dependent, a spouse of a foreign worker, you're eligible for an open work permit as well. Also, if your partner is on a study permit, then you're eligible for an open work permit on that. There's also the bridging open work permit and the postgrad work permit. So these are examples of open work permits. It allows you to work for any employer at any province for the validity of that permit. A closed work permit is exactly as it sounds. It's closed, meaning for the validity of that permit, you can only work for that particular employer that's listed on your work permit. You cannot, during that time, work for another employer. If you're looking at working for another employer, then you have to apply for the necessary paperwork and get that work permit changed to the next or prospective employer, whether that's to apply through one of the agreements Canada has, like NAFTA, GATS, and so forth, or whether that's through an LMIA. But until the new work permit is not issued, you are pretty much stuck with working with that work with the employer that's on your current work permit. So you are closed, and for that validity of that permit, you are supposed to work with that employer. If you want to change the employer, there are ways to do that within Canada. There's also ways to do that outside of Canada. But of course, you have to find another employer. They have to agree to meet the requirements, whether it's through the agreements like NAFTA, GATS, or whether that is to apply through the LMIA. And while you're going through that process, you can continue to work with the employer that's on your current work permit. So just to repeat, open means you can work for any employer. Closed means you are restricted to that particular employer. Also, with the closed work permit, if there are multiple locations that you have to work for a particular employer, you want to make sure that your work permit actually indicates multiple locations. If it doesn't, then you are restricted to the locations of your work permit. So please read your work permit carefully and make sure you are working for the employer that's listed on your work permit, for the duration that it's listed for, and for the exact location that it's listed for. Any amendments you have to apply for with Citizenship Immigration Canada. I hope this answers the question about open versus closed. If you have further questions about this, give us a call. Thank you, and until next time.